Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at some of the ticker symbols that were in play today. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at BIOA. Okay, it's in the bull zone on RSI at 61. The big development here was the close above the bottom of the gap. There's a gap back here in August between the top of this candle and the bottom of this candle, and so there was a close above that level and a close above the closing price on the 12th. So the close above high close resistance in the bottom of the gap is signaling more upside potential. We want to see now a close above this ascending resistance line, this red line. So a close above 66 tomorrow would signal more upside potential and a possible gap fill. And so the top of the gap and Dollarland are the next targets. Notice the big volume spike. Check out the BIOA 15-minute chart. You can see here it was the classic breakout. Notice the tight Bollinger Bands, and then there was the break above resistance here early in the day. It broke above the 50 simple moving average, broke above the 100 simple moving average, and then rode EMA 4 higher. Notice that EMA 8 held on the pullback here at 315, and then the close was at 655. It was trading higher in after hours trading. The close above EMA 4 in the middle Bollinger Band way down here at 61 is signaling more upside potential. So keep an eye on it for follow through tomorrow. The big volume is signaling more upside potential. So take a look at INFI. Okay, the stock had a nice bounce today. You can see here RSI corrected and Fasto corrected both from overbought levels, and now RSI is at 58 and in the bull zone. Bulls want to see Fasto back above 50. There was a bearish crossover here on 80X. So there was a big close above the upper Bollinger Band on this candle, and the candles worked their way back into the bands. There's a gap back here between the top of this candle and the bottom of this candle, and so this top of the gap level, this broke, and so the candle started filling the gap. A drop down to this level at 170 would fill the gap at 169 or so, and that's lined up with the 300-day simple moving average at 172 and the middle Bollinger Band at 177. So the downside risk, if EMA 13, the orange line at 217, fails to hold, is a drop down here to fill the gap, and then you have the 200-day simple moving average at 189 as well. So 170 to 190 is a huge support zone, but it's also a possibility of filling that gap. Now, in order to head higher, it needs to break above this EMA 4 at 245. So fail to break 245 resistance and close above that level, that's going to signal downside risk and a possible gap fill. A close above EMA 4, and then the target's going to be back up here at the upper Bollinger Band at 325. Okay, so check out VHC. It had a nice bounce today. Notice that RSI closed just above 50. You've got a pinched Fasto down here. Now this was the last. This was an older VHC chart, and yeah, so you can see these annotations are from before. You can see the share price is corrected. This chart was made on this day here, where there was the close above this high close resistance from back here on June 7th. The June 7th close was the key level to break. That happened on the first trading day in October 2nd, and it was on a big volume spike, and a big run followed. And then notice that following four big red candles in a row, the share price dropped down to the support level and closed back above it today. So that's the key level to hold, this 525 support zone, we're calling it. The bounce today was off of this 150 simple moving average support levels, the 451 to 472. So bulls want to see that hold. In order to get a new uptrend going, it's got to close above the middle Bollinger Band at 601. So we're saying above 6 for VHC signals more upside potential, and then we'll be looking for a run back up here to the 8 zone, up here to 825, the high close resistance level, and then fail to break the middle Bollinger Band. That would signal downside risk, and then possible new downtrend starting. Notice the candles are below the middle Bollinger Band right now, so it's really important it gets back above that level. It was a bullish bounce off of key support here. It needs to hold that 50-day simple moving average of close below would signal risk. Notice there is an unfilled gap down here as well between the top of this candle and the bottom of this candle. So a drop down to just below 4, and the 390s would fill the gap. Check out the big volume behind this play. So the big volume, it does signal more upside potential. Okay, take a look at VKTX. Okay, this stock has been on a really excellent uptrend. It's been trading, this is just the classic excellent uptrend going. Notice that back here in September, it turned the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average into support. And then this close here on the 12th of September signaled the chart was really heating up at the close above the 200 and 300-day simple moving averages. And then once it finally broke out above, on this candle here, it was trading above all the moving averages. And then notice how it started riding EMA 4 support higher. There was a close below here, and then a close below here, but the share price has been holding that level. It bounced off of the EMA 13, and it's continuing the super strong uptrend. So as long as the EMA 4 at 259 is holding, the chart couldn't be any stronger. If it closes below that level, then EMA 13 has been holding, so that's the key support level on the downside. It needs to hold the middle Bollinger Band at 201 to keep the uptrend going. Notice the big volume spikes. There was a bullish crossover down here on the 8, 13, and 5, and then the MACD line bounced off of the signal line on the 12, 26, and 9, and then check out there was a PSAR bull flip. And then so since VKTX is breaking out on the daily chart, and it's made it making a new 52-week high this week, the key is to look at the weekly chart to find resistance. And so we had to go back here to 2015. December 2015 close, the last week of December. That's the high close resistance level to break. It's in the 340s. We'll call it, the 350 zone, 345, 350. That's going to be the key level to break. If it comes up there and hits that level and stalls out, that could signal the top of the run. I mean, look how beautiful this uptrend is. This formed a double bottom. Notice there was a low in November, and then it came back and it made that double bottom in August, and then it's been heading higher ever since. When the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-week moving average turned into support here, that made this a very good candidate for a long-term swing trade, and it's just been up for several weeks in a row. If it can close above 350 for the week, then you could see a potential run up here into the 5s. The big level, the top of this chart is up here at 650. That's going to be so what it's doing is filling the jar. It had this long downtrend, made a double bottom, and now it's filling the jar back up to previous resistance levels. Check out the volume. There's been an increasing volume pattern, and so what we're looking at now is a big spike in volume this week, and so you want to keep an eye out for a climax spike, since if it hits the 350 zone and then pulls back and forms an upper wick, there could be the climax spike, so keep an eye out for that. Let's take a look here at GNMX. This stock made a really nice move today. Okay, so the big development on this chart is the break above the sideways channel. Notice for how long? For 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 months in a row, it's been trading in a sideways channel, and today it finally closed above the top of the channel. So this was the key level to break, and notice how it was tested 3 times in a row, and then today was the 4th. It finally closed above. So that signals more upside potential. Now it's hitting resistance from back here in April and May, and so it needs to bust above this 160 resistance zone, and then you've got the this 190 to $2 resistance zone from March and April, and if it can get above that, then the target is the 200-day simple moving average at 230 and the bottom of the gap. Notice there's a gap back here between these two candles, and so the bottom of the gap and the 200-day simple moving average will be the target if this uptrend continues. Notice how the upper Bollinger Band is pointing up, the lower Bollinger Band is pointing down. That's signaling a breakout higher. There is a PSAR bull flip. You've got the giant volume spike. The long upper wick on today's candle does show some profit taking. The Fasto's at 55. It was lowered by the pullback from high of day. Okay, so take a look at RGSE. This thing has really been hanging in there. You've got RSI and Fasto still below overbought levels. Look for a bullish crossover here on ADX. You want that green line to cross the black line if you are a bull. And so what's going on in this chart is it's been trying to break horizontal high close resistance. Notice that an ascending triangle pattern has formed. So check out how there's been ascending support and horizontal resistance. And so today, even though there was the gap up open at 260, it looked like maybe it was going to break above. Once again, it closed below the key level. It needs to close above the closing price on October 4th to head higher. Once it closes above that level, that's going to be your signal that okay, it's ready to move. So it keeps having these gap up opens and then pull back, gap up open and pull back. There's big volume spike here. This is a very interesting chart. It's set up here where either support or resistance is going to break. It's all about the close. So notice all these closes are within this triangle. So the first close above the top of this red line is going to signal a breakout higher, and then we'll be looking at a potential run up here to 320, 330. And then if there's a break below this green line, then we're looking for a pullback down here to the 200-day simple moving average and middle Bollinger Band. So keep an eye on it. The chart's super wound tight. RGSE should be breaking that pattern in the next candle or two. Take a look at LINU. So this chart is heating up here. It's got the it's been in play. So it's RSI has been in the bull zone. You've got Fasto now back above 50. And so this has been consolidating, and if you notice it formed this big flagpole. Notice the big volume spike, and then you've got this you got the big volume spike and the big white candle that formed in the first week of October, and then check out how this flag has formed off of it. You can call it a flag here, or pin it. It's basically okay. So this is what I would call a bull flag coming off of here, and so what you've got is it's the same as the last pattern with the ascending triangle pattern. You have ascending support. Notice how support keeps rising, but then you have the horizontal resistance. And so the horizontal resistance has changed a couple times, but basically the key is you got to get above the previous high close. And so today it closed right at the closing price on the 10th. And so that's the first big level to break now. And then the second one is this closing price here on the what is that? On the 6th. And this candle right here, if it can close above that level, that's the one we've been waiting for. That's the big one. So what happened is that there was this descending resistance line here, and so that broke on this big white candle, and it also there was a close above this blue line, which is the 300-day simple moving average. And so both of these lines have been turning into support, and so it's signaling that this is wanting to break out higher. So if you see a close or a break above this closing price here, that is going to be your signal that it wants to run, and you could see a run back up into the threes. We'll be shooting for 340, get above 340, and you're up here at back, filling the jar back up to 440. This is another one of those filling the jar plays. It's coming back up, and it's retracing back to the previous high. So it's coming back up. We'll see if it can continue this good uptrend. Okay, let's take a look at ALQA. Keep an eye on the stock. It did come down here. I know a lot of people were talking about this, even though it is a very thinly traded stock. It has a little bit of a following in Pennyland, but I'll just do this real quick. Notice there was a gap right here, and this gap did fill today. So we'll have to see what happens after the gap fill. Many times that's a climax. And what has to happen now is the top of the gap needs to turn into support, and so that's the green line that it closed above. It needs to turn to support, and then this needs to break above this 100-day simple moving average at 344. Notice back here how it's been big resistance. Okay, right here. You've got this whole zone. It keeps on trying to turn the 100-day simple moving average into support, and it fails. So if it closes above, it needs to turn that into support, and there could be a trade between the 100 and the 200-day simple moving average, which is up here at 431. So that will be the key target if it can get above that 100-day simple moving average. Keep an eye on it. You've got a bullish crossover down here on the 8, 13, and 5. MACD is pinched on the 12, 26, and 9. Looks like it's ready to cross over. There was a volume spike today. You've got the bullish crossover on ADX with the signaling the bulls are taking control. And then what's nice is you've got RSI that closed above 50 at 53 after trading below. All signals that the chart is heating up. Okay, take a look at DELT. Okay, this stock is it's still in the bull zone on both RSI and Fasto. Bulls want to see that green line cross the black line to the upside. And so what we're looking at on this chart is a possible break above the 200 and 300 day simple moving averages, and so we want to see a close above this red line 153. If that happens, then you could see a run back up into the twos. So keep an eye on DELT. It's got this nice uptrend going. It closed above the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average on this white candle. It turned them into support. It closed today above the 100-day simple moving average at 138 and the 300-day simple moving average at 145. So that was a very bullish close. Now all it has to do is get above this red line here, the 200-day simple moving average, and then it'll be trading above all the moving averages, and you could really see it get heating up and heading higher. Notice the volume spike. See this big volume spike on the 16th and that long upper wick? That looks like people were loading. So keep an eye on DELT. It looks like it could head higher. Okay, take a look at NETE. Okay, yeah, this stock here closed above resistance today. Put out alerts for everyone. Yeah, the bullish development here was the close above the EMAs 4, 8, 13, and the 100-day simple moving average. It broke through 4 key resistance levels today, and it's been holding the 50-day simple moving average at 489. That's the green line. It needs to stay above that level, and then so the next target here is the middle Bollinger Band at 661 and the 200-day simple moving average at 689. It should, with the close above EMA 13, head back to that level. Now it's going to need to close above both of those levels to get a new uptrend going. This was a good start today. This big volume spike, the big volume is promising. It looks like people reloaded down here, and it looks like NET could make a push higher. If you look, once again, this has juice in the tank. RSI just closed above 50, so it's far away from 70 and overbought levels. And down here, RSI or Fasto crossed above the 20 oversold line, which is a buy signal, and it's got a lot of room until the 80 oversold or overbought level. Okay, so keep an eye on GBSN. I know the stock used to be kind of a cult favorite with the penny stock traders over on the big boards. Now it trades on the OTC, and it's been back in play. It's got RSI at 58, Fasto at 66, bullish crossover on 80X, and so there was a really bullish development today. Check out this green line. That's the 50-day simple moving average. It's currently at 7 cents. There was a close above that level last week, right here on the 11th, and that signaled the chart was heating up, and then now today it closed back above that level. So that's really signaling more upside potential for GBSN. If it can turn the 50-day simple moving averages into support, it should head higher. Notice that you've got this key support level here lined up with this. There's a descending resistance line, which is a major resistance level. It hit that level and pulled back. If they can close above both of those levels, then we're looking at a run up here to the 100-day simple moving average at 20. That is our target if the 50-day simple moving average holds. Notice there's a PSR bull flip. There was a volume spike. You've got a super pinched 12, 26, and 9 MACD, and then in a very pinched 8, 13, and 5 MACD that started a bullish crossover today. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com. Thank you.